Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to my channel. Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to be discussing The Matrix. Not necessarily the movie, but the whole concept of the satanic matrix that we're alleged to be in. And going to discuss it using one of my favorite tools, language, wordplay, right? So without further ado, we take that word matrix and we split it, and we take that little base component, which is mater, and you get mater, meaning mother. Well, first and foremost, what is a matrix? A matrix is a womb. But if you were to use some fun wordplay, matrix splits into mother 9. Now, this is obviously just looking at things from a different perspective. So, if you're one of the people that only sticks to the status quo interpretation of language, please just get off my channel. Or not. Whatever you want to do. But if that's you, you're not going to really get anything out of this, nor will I be able to reach you. But got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So, that word mater, meaning mother, is the root of the material. Material, material, as in of the mother. Material being a motherly nature. It is the root of matter, which is the lower vibration or frequency of what we know of as existence within the confines of energy, right? And still is tied to the word mother. Now, matter, the material, is the slower vibration. It is the feminine vibration, right? You've got the positive, the negative, and the neutral. So, what is the takeaway here? It is the concept that this, quote, satanic matrix that we are in is really one where material is placed of a higher importance than spiritual matters or spiritual nature. So, to get back to a place of balance, we must change course. Remembering our symbols, that is. If our head is down here in the material, then we're upside down. Okay, so to fix that, get back on course, and get the head and mind back into spiritual matters. So that way we walk upon the material, not necessarily in a bad way, right? Not like we're disrespecting the material. However, the point being that we're supposed to, well, I shouldn't say supposed to, but to keep things in the light, need to keep our head and our mind and our spirit in the light. If we fail to do so, we end up chasing after the darkness. The material matrix is one where that value is placed on, well, the material, the quote satanic matrix, Satan being the opposite of God. God is spirit. The opposite of spirit is matter. The thing about matter is the kinetic, matter is the potential form of energy. So, there exists the two, kinetic energy and potential. The potential is the matter or material, and the kinetic is the spiritual. Right? Spiritual, spiritus, all, right? Of the spirit. So, what we learn here in the material realm can be applied in spiritual matters, right? So that's kind of the point of, like, say, masonry, is through the tools of masonry, the level, the plumb, for example, they're able to teach a moral lesson that applies in the realm of spirit. For those who seek to learn anything about masonry. So, when they say knowledge is power, it's actually Scientia, I believe I spelled that right, Potentia est, or knowledge is potential, because the knowledge would simply be down here. What you do with that knowledge is something completely different. How you apply that in the kinetic form, right? That knowledge in motion is the difference between simply knowing or understanding and wisdom. It's the difference between taking that knowledge and applying it and just taking that knowledge and sitting on it. If all you're doing is sitting on that knowledge, you're not going anywhere with it. I mean, it's like having gasoline in the tank, but you're not doing anything with that gasoline. Like, yeah, like that gasoline's being used, then surely that gasoline is power. But, and I mean, it still technically is power. It's just stored in a dormant form. But if you're taking that knowledge and you're not applying it, it's stagnant, and that stagnancy leads to destruction. I mean, even the gasoline itself, if it just sits there after enough time passes, it'll lose its value. But if you take that gasoline and you put it to use, you're taking that potential and applying it in a way that brings the potential to kinetic energy. And that's what ultimately, I mean, the 12 steps come into play about that. The spiritual principles taught by the 12 steps come into that. And almost every spiritual text focuses on applying the spiritual principles rather than just simply knowing them. You can know things all day long and it won't do you or anybody else any good. So, how does one take what they learn in the matrix and apply it to the spiritual realm, and take that knowledge and really apply it in a way that brings benefit, not really just to yourself, shouldn't even really be focusing on, quote, the self, but ultimately bringing a better way of life to everybody and bringing balance back to the world. One of those ways is by looking at and understanding the concept of money. Money usually doesn't just come in for free, right? You gotta get up and earn it. So, by taking that knowledge of getting up and earning money, right? Getting up and earning some knowledge, you can apply that in spiritual principles and in spiritual ways. By getting up and reading and studying books, by getting up and taking that knowledge that you learned from reading spiritual books and applying it in your life. Like when Christ says, love your enemies, rather than just simply knowing what Matthew 5:44 says, when you have the opportunity to present that knowledge in action, in kinetic form to that enemy, and you express love and you bless them when they curse you, and you do good for them when they do you wrong, and you pray for them when they despitefully use you and persecute you. That's the difference. Anybody can simply memorize and know what something says and even understand it inside, but until they bring it forward in action, it's not going to do much of anything. You know, like Christ says, the kingdom of heaven comes not by observation. You can't just simply sit there and see and look and understand and know these things. It's about bringing it forward and applying it in the real world to bring out real world results. I mean, you can know how to work out. You can know the science of the diet. You can know the science of the resistance in the muscles. You can know the science of the resting period. But until you actually get up off the couch and work out and eat right and take in the proper nutrients and, you know, lift the weights properly, like, it's not going to do you any good. So, again, the kingdom of heaven comes not by observation. If one is to escape the matrix, one ultimately has to get up off the couch and apply what they learn in the matrix in a spiritual manner, right? Get out of the concept that you can just sit there and skate by and wait for other people to do things to bring you back into balance in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Get up off the couch. Do what you got to do each and every day, one day at a time. And before you know it, things will get better for everybody. But it takes effort. It takes some time. It takes some patience. It takes some understanding for your fellow man. It takes understanding for your fellow animals. It takes understanding for yourself. You have to understand. You have to know yourself too, then ultimately apply that as well in a spiritual way. You know, first and foremost, love yourself truly. Like, take care of yourself. Be honest to yourself about yourself, to your neighbor about yourself, to your neighbor about your neighbor, because you love your neighbor as yourself. You know, so it goes beyond just reading, goes beyond just understanding, goes beyond just being able to take words and split them in a way that, you know, can blow people's minds or make people look at you like you're fucking crazy. It goes beyond all that. It goes into the realm of turning potential into kinetic energies, or in other words, in the way of an alchemist, turning lead into gold, turning darkness into light, transmuting the base metals into gold, into something brighter, more valuable, because ultimately the kinetic energy is more valuable here in this realm. So I hope you like this one. I hope you're getting something out of it, and Hope everyone had a good day and continues to have a good night. Peace.